One, two. Three.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Whiskey Website Wednesdays. This is episode 10. I am Mira. I am the social media manager here at Outside the Box, and we are joined by some lovely guests today. Gauch, you want to take it over?
I'm Gauch. You guys already know me, so I'm not going to talk too long. We missed you guys at the end of the year, so sorry about that. I just had to get too drunk, so we couldn't be on air. Harmon, you guys know him?
Yeah, so I just want to say Happy New Year first and foremost. These guys missed out on that. Happy holidays. Hope it was good. I'm Harmon. I'm part of the IT team at Balantech, and today we have a special guest. I've known this guy for too many years, like 30 plus, and he has a dream job. He was a global ambassador for Grey Goose. He was an ambassador for Bacardi. I don't know what an ambassador does. All I know is he tells jokes, goes on cruises, and makes drinks. So this is Trevor Burnett from IMDb, this guy. It's kind of crazy. But Trevor Burnett, I want to welcome you to Whiskey Website Wednesdays, man.
Hey, what's up?
What's up with you?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too.
I feel like there's a bromance going on there.
Right out of the gate.
It's all bromance.
You trying to arrange
right
the
now.
nerves?
Yeah.
So today, Trevor's going to talk a little bit about Pulteney.
How do you say it?
How do you say it?
Or Pulteney.
Oh,
Old Pulteney.
with the head tilt.
With the
With the
head.
head tilt.
You got to have it.
Old Pulteney.
So before you talk about that,
Old Pulteney.
quick rundown, what you've done, how you did it, and how you got here, and why this.
Well, I do a lot of work with brands on teaching people about the proper way of drinking spirits, not just whiskey or scotch, but also gin. You mentioned vodka and rum. So I work with, Bacardi in the past. This particular brand, Old Pulteney, is represented by the Woodman Wines and Spirits Agency. So they've graciously given us the product to sample today. And what you do is basically I started on cruise ships, right? And when I was on ships, I'd go to different islands in the Caribbean, and I go to like Scotland, or I go to England, and all these different places have, distilleries, just like in Canada, we have Canadian whiskey. So I go to a different distillery every time, and you learn a lot, not just about whatever that particular category is, but you learn about the whole process of distillation, right? And so then you taste as well, so that you can get an idea. I build a library, basically a sense of taste and smell library. You mentioned you used the reference of formaldehyde to describe a whiskey.
So that last one we tried, what was it, last week? 2 weeks
2
ago?
weeks ago, yeah.
Done vegan? Yeah. Formaldehyde.
So the idea is to kind of build up, even if you don't drink spirits, you can still eat food and drink non-alcoholic beverages to kind of build up what you would use to describe these different things. So when you travel a lot, you have that opportunity to not just say, oh, that's really smooth.
Yeah.
Because to say that's really smooth is so generic. So what you want to do is you think, okay, well, what is smooth? Okay, buttery on the palate is a good way to describe stuff. Or velvety. So you can associate it with the sense of touch as well. So all these different things I would do over the years, as well as reading. I pick up books wherever I went on not just the spirit, but also the culture and, the agriculture, the history of that, and Providence and all that stuff is very important. And so then I started to do a lot of guest lectures because I have a background in, performance. Like I used to work with a lot of comedy and stuff like that. I'm not necessarily that funny, but I'm very
funny
outgoing.
looking though. So
Funny looking is for sure.
that
But
makes up for it.
roll that all into this ball. Does that kind of answer the question? And then I present all the different stuff.
So you've been all over the world presenting alcohol to people.
Yeah.
It's a dream job.
It's pretty
It's a
good.
dream job.
Tell jokes and make drinks.
It's a good life.
It's a good life.
So
Yeah.
why
This one?
Why Old Pulteney?
Yeah.
I'm very fond of this one. So this is a brand, or this is a style of scotch that I've been working with since, I guess, the fall, right? And so it's delicious. Old Pulteney has a number of different scotches, right? Single malts. And so one that's really well known is the 21-year-old. There's a guy named Jim Murray who's written the Whiskey Bible. He rates whiskeys every year. And this 21-year-old that they have is one, I think, in 2012, if I'm correct. I might be wrong. But that brought a lot of attention to Old Pulteney. But it's not the only scotch they have. So I wanted to bring something that people don't necessarily see or hear about as much and present it to you. This is a no-age statement. Scotch whiskey, so that means there's no designation of number, right? There's just a 12 or 21 on it. Because if it has a number on it, the age of each, whiskey in that bottle has got to be at least 12, 21 years old and up. And this one is just, it's a mixture of different things that they blend to taste.
Cool.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
when you drink whiskey, is it straight out of a shot glass, or it can I usually
Good
like
question.
Yeah.
Only if you're some sort of degenerate, because I don't know anybody who's doing shots of scotch, except for this guy right here.
He definitely
Shout out
gets
to our
it.
boys.
All class.
Shout
Yes.
out to my
Put the ass in class, my friend. But, it does make a difference what you drink the whiskey out of, right? So, of course, we were talking about how you usually drink it out of this or shot glass, right? But this is actually...
The guy who invented that, I think he passed away.
He passed
Oh,
away.
really?
Yeah, the red
I
cup
think
guy.
A few days ago.
Oh, really?
He has a name, but it's not the red cup guy.
Yeah, he's the red cup guy.
But rest in peace, red
Let's
cup
pour
guy.
out a little bit of Scotch whiskey for that guy right there.
Okay.
But this has got water in it, right? Because I always tell people to try your, whatever it is, whether it's Scotch or rum or whatever it is that you're drinking, drink it neat first.
Mhm.
Then you add a little splash of water.
Yeah.
That's called releasing the serpent. Some people say that, right? Because it releases a lot of the expression of the Scotch or the whiskey or the rum, and it gets out of the glass. So, and you asked earlier about where we drink champagne, like what's going on. So there's actually a proper Scotch whiskey glass. This is a Canadian whiskey glass, right? And they're made so that when the liquid hits your lips or hits your tongue, your palate, it hits it in a way where it actually has an effect on the experience. All right, so we'll pour a little bit into the flutes. Okay, we'll pour some into these guys here. All right, so the first thing you'll notice, and I started with wine. A lot of people look at wine glasses and they come in different shapes and forms. But if you take we have 5 minutes left. Oh, Jesus. All right.
No.
Okay, cool. So, see that? See the way it looks in the glass, right? It's different from the way this looks in the glass. So that's going to spread it right across your palate. And so your palate is broken up into different regions as well. You got the sweet, the sour, all that sort of stuff. And so, depending on what glass you drink it out of, it may taste differently. So, you have that one. You have this one. I'll take this one. Take that one. All right. So the first thing you got to do, actually, can you grab that piece of paper?
Yeah, sure.
When you're tasting properly, you want to look at the liquid first, right? So you can kind of spin it around and look at the legs, right? You'll see that the legs will start to run down the glass. And then you also want to hold it up to a piece of white paper, something white. If you have a piece of paper or an employee or something like that that's walking by, you just do like this. But you hold it up to the, and then you can see that it's kind of an amp. You get the true essence of what the color is. And sometimes it's darker. If it's darker, it might be in the barrel longer. If it's lighter, it may not have been in the barrel light for as long, obviously. So then you stick your nose in there. Everybody has a different method of tasting or smelling, right? So you can inhale through the nose and exhale through your mouth if you like. After a while, you find what helps you to, pick up the notes. And that's where your reference library comes in. That's when you're thinking, okay, is there anything familiar in there? Do you smell anything other than alcohol? Because the first thing little pee, lightly peating, right? How about you?
I smell whiskey.
Okay, that's perfect. That's what's in the glass. How about you?
I actually don't know.
Don't know.
I don't.
So what you need to do is pay more attention to when you eat and drink stuff, because
I just
if
show
you
them
really
the
focus,
notes.
and sometimes if you do it with your eyes closed with no light,
It's like citrus.
citrus is a good one. You'll always find a little hint of citrus, maybe some cocoa, maybe a little bit of honey, heather, that sort of thing. Sometimes the whiskey might be floral, but I always say, they'll have notes, aromatic notes on the side of the box or the glass. It's all a matter of, depending on your taste and what you have that you can refer to. If you've never had heather before, if you never smelled heather, you're not going to use it as a reference. But if you're a person who grew up, or if you went to school and you recognize the smell of formaldehyde, you're more likely to use that to describe. And even if you say formaldehyde, that's not necessarily negative.
Yeah. It's
You might
something
hints of it, and you're like, oh, it reminds me of that. But you might still like the whiskey. But if it tastes just like formaldehyde,
Yeah, well then.
and it's
You're probably
gross.
drinking from wine.
Yeah, and some wines will have a little taste of, or a nose of petroleum, right?
Mm.
And so it's a hint, but it's not something that's offensive. And it might be sweet. So all these combinations of flavors are interesting. But
Can we drink them?
yeah, now you can, yeah.
So how do you drink? Just down.
Well, first you go. You're aerating, so you bring in a little bit of
kiss
air.
your teeth.
Yeah, like kissing your teeth, right?
I like this.
Roll it
Indies,
around.
why West Indies are so good at this?
That's right. Perfect. And you want to get all of your palate coated in it, right?
Okay.
So once you taste it,
Hit me in my nose for some reason.
put your glass, put a glass of that down, and I'll add a little splash. So again, this is 46% ABV, alcohol by volume. And so when it's high in alcohol, or when it's got,
It's like
alcohol,
a spicy notes.
Yeah.
spicy notes,
Love
a little
the
bit of
spicy.
chocolate I have a bit on the palate. Now try it again. Roll it around. And again, the difference with using that glass and this glass, the mouth of the glass is wider on here. There, it's a little narrower. So it's going to concentrate the flavors of the scotch when it's coming up to your nose. So when that will be a little bit stronger in flavor versus this one where the flavors can escape a little bit more. So depending on whether you like, a heavily flavored
Smells like
whiskey.
fruitier now.
And yeah, it does smell fruity.
Fruity, right? And a little easier drinking.
Who's
So-
Heather, by the way?
Heather is a type. It's like a Scottish
Oh.
flower, not.
He's like, can I eat
Yeah.
on
Have
it?
Yeah,
you
right.
tasted it? Have
You
you
want to
smelled
taste the heather,
it?
right?
I didn't know. You think explain these things to me, man?
Now it's a little easier drinking, right?
Oh wow. That went about smooth.
Mm.
And a great way to have scotch is with a little bit of dark chocolate,
Okay.
or even like
Well,
one
that's
of
good.
those
I like
cookies.
that.
Those cookies that you have, the Scottish eat. What kind of?
Shortbread?
That's the one, right?
Alright.
Shortbread is awesome with scotch.
Yeah.
And when you think about the region, pair your whiskey or your cocktails, your wine with whatever's from that region.
Okay.
So they always say with red wine, you have it with, pasta or with like a tomato sauce or something dark. And with like white wine, you have it with fish. It's not that simplified.
Mhm.
If it's an Italian wine, it goes really well with Italian food because that's what they would do. They would drink wine with food. The same with Scotch whiskey. Whiskey from Scotland is great with things that are Scottish in nature, like meat pies and haggis is one. And those are the typical kind of stereotypical Scottish things. But shortbread and chocolate, at the end of the night, perfect.
Right.
And so with this particular brand, I guess you guys do a little bit of a talk on marketing, right? I guess the marketing piece, because every brand of alcohol, to sell it, it really helps to have a story. And if it's a genuine story, that's even better. Some people fabricate stories to sell stuff.
Captain
This one,
Morgan, like the pirate dude.
I have no comment. I just comment on the spirits that I work with and that I know well. So, yeah, Old Pulteney is what we call the maritime malt. Right? So it was created in Wick, which is the northernmost distillery in Scotland. It's a Highland malt. So you guys know the different regions in Scotland that make Scotch?
Sure.
There are 5. There's
Glasgow.
Highland, there's
Spade.
Speyside,
Speyside.
right? That's on the east side.
I just know Spade because a few of my favorites are from there. I think.
That's where the most come from
Yeah.
because of the water source, right?
Yeah.
The river Spey. So you got Highland, Lowland, Speyside, Islay, and Campbell Town, right?
Oh,
Those are 5. And the different regions have a different style associated with them. This is the Highland. Highland's the biggest region, so you get a lot of fluctuation in tastes, right? So, but it's the northernmost distillery. It's a maritime malt because that particular distillery was not accessible by road. It was by water. Only ships could come and get there. The guys who worked in the distillery also worked on the ships. And at the time, in 1826, when this whiskey was created, and the distillery was built, a lot of those fishermen worked in the distillery as well.
Right.
And they used to export gold in barrels and silver in barrels. Silver would be herring, because there was a big herring boom, and the gold would be the whiskey.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's kind of the story behind it. Right? These stills are shaped differently. So the shape of the stills affects the flavor of the liquid and also the barrel and the aging in the barrel. So they use American oak bourbon barrels, and they use sherry to finish. All right, sherry's more expensive than bourbon because when you're aging bourbon, you can only use a new barrel once, and then they discard it. They get rid of it. So the Scotch companies buy it, and the rum companies buy it, and then they re-age their rum or Scotch in those barrels. Right?
It's pretty cool.
Whiskey website Wednesdays just got schooled
I know.
by
a lot
Trevor
of stuff.
Burnett.
It's a lot of stuff.
And that was just on this brand right here.
Yeah.
So to the social marketing side of it and to that aspect, Mira, jump in. If you were to market this, how would you do it?
I think I would leverage the story part of it a lot. And I think that goes with any whiskey or whatever. Just like you said, they come from different regions and stuff like that. I would definitely put the story behind it to a higher level because there's a lot of stuff that I didn't know. And even about drinking whiskey, I'm not loud enough. even about like drinking whiskey and smelling the notes and stuff like that, like I'm just blown away by all this new knowledge.
Well, you know, if you're ever overwhelmed, all you need to know, because marketing thinks of this stuff, not to like play up the marketing side. If you look at a bottle, you can tell the story through the bottle. So Old Pulteney single malt Scotch whiskey, that's the basic part. But then it says, you know, matured in bourbon and sherry casks.
Yep.
But in terms of the story piece, okay, if you look at the neck of this bottle, that's designed to look like a still, right? Because the big talking point about the production is that the shape of the still affects the flavor profile of the whiskey. So they do a little nod to that by putting this still, this kind of like a bulbous looking shaped neck, by letting people remember that. And if you look at the base, you've got a little compass rose.
Yeah.
All right, the compass rose is a
They have
nod
that
to
on the
that.
label as well.
They do,
Compass.
so that you continually know the story of it being the maritime malt.
Right.
And what's really important is when we talk about the tasting notes, when you age whiskey, the great thing about barrels and wood is that it expands and it compresses, right? It's breathable, but it retains liquid. So air can get out, the liquid stays in. And so these whiskeys are aged by the sea. And so that sea saltiness actually penetrates the barrel and infuses the whiskey. So you get a little bit of brininess, or sea saltiness to it if you really taste it. And that's kind of a trademark of Old Pulteney, right? It's that sea saltiness that actually marries with the liquid because it's aged close to the sea. Yeah.
Well,
We didn't even get to the amaze balls that.
Yeah. So you can drink whiskey however you like. Really.
Yeah.
You can have it with soda. You can have it with water. You can have it with Coke. You can have it in a cocktail. You can have it on the rocks. You can have it with a splash of water and whatnot. But they have these things called amaze balls. You stick them in the freezer, and then you can drop them in there. Or you can just leave your scotch in the fridge, and it'll be cold.
Should we be putting scotch in the freezer?
Well, it just depends on how you drink it, right? It saves you the time. If you keep it in the freezer, it's going to be as cold as you can get it. So then you don't need to add
But
any
will it
ice.
take away from the flavors at all?
Well, it takes away from the flavors, I guess. See, this is the argument. When you have vodka, a lot of people keep it in the freezer because it keeps it like super neutral, super cold, and stuff like that. So yeah, if you keep whiskey at room temperature, I think it'll have more flavor, personally, as to if you have it in the freezer, right? You kind of like, you can control a lot of that stuff with the glassware, the amount of water you add. If you add ice, that dilutes it too. So if you do put it in the freezer and you like your whiskey really, really cold, because everybody's preference.
Yeah.
When it comes to taste, whether it's alcohol or food or comedy or music, it's all personal preference. It's subjective.
Or even Harmon.
Or even Harmon. Some people love him, some people hate him, right?
Like
But he's
Frank.
still Harmon.
It's personal preference.
That's right. But it depends on how you like to consume it, right? Yeah.
All right. Well, do you guys have any other questions for?
If people want to get a hold of you, is there any social media,
I don't
online?
want to have anything to do with anybody, man. I'm busy. Don't call
We'll
me.
talk about this after this whiskey website.
I'm not out there
Wednesdays.
very much. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like, unless I give somebody my phone number, they're going to phone me or text me. But I'm not on Facebook consistently enough.
Yeah.
You can maybe find me on Instagram. So I'm the word. I'm like a.
You're gonna have
Hard to
to.
get
We
you're
can
gonna have
fix
to-
that for
Reach
you.
out to-
Outside
Reach
the
out
box.
to these people. Call these people. I'll have my people call you.
And we can fix that Instagram and Facebook problem that you have.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, person beside you got you.
Well, it's not really a problem. I'm kind of like,
Yeah, you don't wanna
crazy
do it.
stuff happens on Facebook and
Well,
Instagram.
I mean, cheers.
Yes.
Thank you so much for
To a
coming
new
in.
Thank you
year.
very much.
To a new year.
Thank
Happy
you,
New
Trey.
Year,
Very
guys.
informative.
It's going to be another bunch of episodes of comedy and Harmon sometimes. And anything else before we go?
I think if you, again, have any other questions for us, just email us at think@outsidethebox.com. You know where to find us on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, whatever, all of our social mediums. And if you have any questions about your 2017 marketing strategy or whatever you want to do, again, shoot us an email.
Harmon at outside or info outside or Mira Gouch. We're all here, and then
thank
we'll get you in
again
touch with them.
thank you again for joining us.
If you guys need Trevor, let me know. I'll middleman that and we'll work something out.
Oh, you know what? I plugged for the Old
Old
Pulteney.
Pulteney.
If you go to the Woodman Wines and Spirits website,
Woodman Wines and Spirits.
everything you need is there.
We'll
Put
throw
the
that
link.
link
We'll put it in
up.
the comments.
Good idea.
Good job.
Peace.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks,
again.
guys.
Take it easy, box heads.